ondoka baada ya miezi 6. Hii kazi itakuhitaji kuwa pale miaka 5. Kweli uko tayari?
Niko tayari, niko gangari na nimejitayarisha vilivyo kutumikia wananchi wa Kenya katika jiji Nairobi kwa miaka 5. Mimi wakati nilipokuwa kwa kiti ya deputy governor nilisema kwamba sikupata na sikuweza kupatiwa kazi nifanye kama deputy governor. Na kuna jambo moja ambalo lazima tukubali. Ukiangalia wanasiasa katika taifa la Kenya, wako zaidi wanaochaguliwa kupitia kwa debe. Wangapi wanafanya kazi yao na ukweli wanapewa mshahara kwa sababu wamefanya kazi? Hilo ni swali tunafaa kujiuliza. Mimi siwezi kubali mshahara bila kufanya kazi.
Unasema kwamba hukupewa kazi. Ni kwamba haukuwa una ushirikiano na Governor Sonko? Ni kwamba ulijipata katika nafasi hiyo kimakosa? Au ni vipi wewe kama naibu gavana unasubiri tu kupewa kazi?
Governor Sonko ni rafiki yangu, ni mwalimu wangu wa kisiasa, hasa siasa za Nairobi. Na muheshimu na namuenzi mpaka wa leo. Ni rafiki yangu. Hata dakika 5 zilizopita tumeongea. Lakini kazi ni tofauti na urafiki. Siwezi kuja ofisini na kila siku kazi yangu ni kusoma gazeti na kuacha koti kwa kiti alafu naenda na lala. Kazi lazima uwe iko kazi ambayo na mpangilio wa kazi umepewa. Na usipopata hiyo kazi basi unaheshimu katiba. Na katiba ya Kenya inasema article 1 kwamba nguvu zote za katiba ni za mwananchi. Na kazi yangu nilipopiga reverse gear ilikuwa ni kusema na heshimu katiba ya Kenya, na heshimu mpiga kura. Na hivi leo nafanywa interview kama mfanyikazi wa watu wa Nairobi, na nawaeleza nitawafanyia kazi. Na baada ya miaka 2-3 mambo ambayo niliona yaweza kutendeka yalitendeka, na tugange yajayo yaliyopita.
In retrospect, you did not quit on the residents of Nairobi who entrusted you and in fact threw their weight behind your boss because you were there as a deputy. You didn't quit on them. Do you owe them an apology?
I failed to earn the trust to deliver my mandate as deputy governor. I never blamed anybody. I blamed myself, and I fell on my sword. Today we see a lot of people who, rather than quit their position, continue to sit there and enjoy the trappings of power and enjoy a salary from government. They enjoy public money. I did not quit on you. If I quit on you, I would not have come to represent myself again through my party Jubilee, through Azimio la Umoja, and contest the nominations, and then win, and then be here as a candidate. I respect Kenya. In our national anthem, we always say, Kenya istahili heshima. And that is a prayer, and that's our national anthem. We put our hands on our hearts, and we say, Kenya istahili heshima. Na heshima ni kwamba, if you feel you're earning money you should not earn, especially public money, then you take a bow and you come back for a fresh mandate. Ladies and gentlemen, I've come for a fresh mandate. I seek to be governor of Nairobi. Please try me.
Unadhani ulihitaji ujuzi wa kisiasa ili kuweza kustahimili mawimbi ambayo yalikukabili wakati huo? Ungekuwa na ujuzi, labda mambo yangekuwa tofauti.
Siasa ni jambo la muhimu sana kuachiwa wanasiasa tu. Sisi ambao tumefanya biashara katika sekta ya kibinafsi tunaelewa. Na mimi kama kazi niliyokuwa nikifanya kwa benki, nimeona wafanyabiashara wengi ambao biashara zao wamefunga sababu ya maslahi yao kukataa kuangaliwa na watu ambao hutengeneza sera, hutengeneza sheria katika bunge. Na kwa hivyo nakuja hapa na uzoefu wa private sector, na nasema tuingie sasa. Let us change kidogo, let's change the tune. Tuingie, tupindue, tulete mapinduzi, tulete ari mpya, kasi mpya, mwamko mpya, tuendelee. Tujaribu mtu ambaye ana uzoefu ambao unaweza kusaidia kisiasa. Na siasa ni nini? Siasa ni ile mambo ya kuleta watu pamoja ili mtimize maslahi ya watu na jamii mtengeneze uchumi, tutengeneze mazingira, tutengeneze jamii na tuendelee pamoja. Hiyo ndio siasa. Hata katika sekta ya kibinafsi, kazi ndio hiyo ya kufanya kazi na wenzetu. So nimekuja hapa, nimejitolea, nimeamua kwamba Nairobi hatuwezi tena tukaendelea jiji kubwa kama hili kuongozwa na uongozi ambao hauna uzoefu wa kufanya kazi. Mimi na kazi ya kuendesha jiji ni kazi ambayo inahitaji ufanye kazi na wafanyikazi ambao nimechunga. Nimeendesha makampuni ambayo iko na wafanyikazi maelfu, budget za mabilioni, na ndivyo nasema nafikiri nina uzoefu. Hii kazi ya budget bilioni 40, wafanyikazi 15,000, nataka hao wafanyikazi wapate kiongozi bora, kwa sababu wakipata kiongozi bora tutapatia wananchi wa Nairobi huduma na taifa letu litakuwa nzuri, na nitakuwa nimefanya kazi yangu kama mwananchi wa taifa la Kenya.
You do have the decorated profile in terms of the boardroom and the qualifications therein. Politics is part of the game, and especially for a county like Nairobi and the position it has nationally. Are you confident about your political ability to make sure that you control and you keep things under control within the capital?
Thank you very much for the compliment. I can tell you, even private sector, there's a lot of politics. In business, there are shareholders, there are employees, and there are customers. Shareholders invest in employees. Employees invest in customers. Customers pay the shareholders, and the cycle works like that. In politics, the shareholder is the political party. The political party then nominates candidates who come as politicians and civil servants who come as civil servants. And the work of civil servants is to then serve the public. And the public in turn keeps giving power to the right party. I am very proud to be a member of Azimio la Umoja, led by the most disciplined shareholder in politics, if I can use those words. I'm very proud to be a member of his team. I'm very proud to be a member of the Nairobi team with my colleague Edwin Sifuna, with my colleague Esther Passaris, with all our MPs. I'm very proud. And because I'm joining a disciplined team, we are going to serve the public. What has been the problem of politics is we, just like in business, we have employees. In politics, what we see is that you have politicians, political parties and politicians who have come together to steal from the public, from the customer. That's not sustainable. What I can say is, in closing, that remark is, when a customer loves you, no one will harm you. When a voter and the public loves you, no one will harm you. We are seeing it in Sri Lanka. We are seeing it in very many countries, that people are eventually, the silent majority, we have in Kenya, we have a very big silent majority. Quiet people, decent people, honest working people, who go about their lives. They are really tired of the circus of usual politics, of insults, of drama, of want a politician or a leader who just gets the job done. And me and my partner, my deputy governor, who's an accomplished scholar, Professor Philip Kaloki, we are just here to get the job done. And we have come with a full blessing of our party, and we have fused a lot of ways: the Wiper way, the ODM way, the Jubilee way, the NAK Kenya way, the KANU way, the UPIA way, the DAP way. We have fused that, and that is the genius of this thing.
Uamuzi wako wa kuingia katika kinyang'anyiro hiki ulikuwa ni uamuzi wako wa hiari, wa binafsi, au ulikuwa uamuzi wa Raila Odinga na mrengo wa Azimio la Umoja?
Uamuzi wangu kuingia siasa niliufanya tarehe March mwaka 2017. Ndipo niliamua kuingia kisiasa kabisa. Na mimi nimekuwa member wa Jubilee Party kutoka wakati huo. Watu wengi wanasema nimeingia siasa hivi sasa. Nilichaguliwa na kura 869,000. Nafikiri na 2017, wacha nimalize.
Kwa sekunde chache naomba.
Nilichaguliwa na kura 869,000 wakati uliopita. Na sasa nimerudi tena kusimama. Ni uamuzi wangu binafsi wa kuja kwa siasa. Na nilipigania kiti, nikang'ang'ania kiti, nikashinda tikiti ya chama tawala Jubilee.
So Igathe is his own man.
Igathe is his own man, and he won his nomination. He canvassed for his nomination politically within the party. Right. And within the party, we also had two other candidates. The people who were running against me also did not have degrees, you know, and I bet them.
All right, on that point, I think you'll be happy with this intervention because your competitor for the governor's seat has arrived, and would like to now call in Senator Johnson Sakaja.
Hey, karibu mdosi. Sasa bro, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good, karibu sana. Good to see you. Pole.
Asante.
Traffic mbaya tutasort.
Thank you very much.
Senator Sakaja, why are you late?
Well, my opponent is used to head starts, and so I wanted to give him an opportunity, and we're here.
Lakini mbona umekuja kuchelewa?
Nilikuwa nataka kumpa nafasi, aanze amezoea kupatiwa nafasi ya kuanza. Na hakuna haja kuzingatia hiyo zaidi. I think we all know the head start we're talking about, that is from government, etc. But good to see you, Polycarp.
Good to see you, Sakaja. Welcome.
I look forward to a good debate. Thank you.
All right. What separates you from your top competitor for the governor position?
Well, Polycarp Igathe is a great man. He's a friend of mine. We've been in Jubilee together. We've campaigned together. I think what separates us is the heart to work for the people. He's had a career in the corporate sector. I've had a career in public service and in leadership. The problems this county has, the challenges in our city, the issues we need to deal with, need solid political leadership, and that is what I know.
Naam, swala la maadili katika uongozi lina umuhimu gani katika siasa zako, katika kampeni yako, katika mchakato huu mzima wa kuwania kiti cha ugavana katika kaunti ya Nairobi?
Swala za maadili ni muhimu sana, kwa sababu kiongozi sio tu yale ambayo unasema ama yale ambayo unazo kama fikra, ni yale ambayo unafanya. Integrity is extremely important. Na mimi nazingatia masuala yote ya maadili. I think integrity defines who you are. And it's not about who you are in public, but also who you are in private. And that's what defines a leader, because as a leader, your work is to set a good example. Your work is to show, you know, the community and the society where to go to. And so, of course, integrity is not perfection. Integrity is not pontification. Integrity is not saying that you'll never make any mistake. Integrity is taking responsibility. And integrity is being able to stand up and say, yes, on this I am right, and yes, on this I am wrong. That is integrity.
You speak about abiding, and part of the requirement for governor is the competence and the credentials.
Yes.
Do you believe that it is important for someone running for governor to have a degree?
It's not just important, it's a requirement by our constitution.
Do you have a degree?
That's the reason I'm here. That's the reason I've been gazetted. I do have all the qualifications required to run for governor of Nairobi, and on top of a degree, beyond just the academic qualifications, I have the competence, the character, I have the will and the experience to lead this county of Nairobi.
Why is it so contested?
Because as I've said, the head starts being sought include that. I think, and I feel bad for my opponent, because majority, or rather the biggest part that his team has been relying on was not to have me on the ballot. I'm glad I had he said, because I've been around, I've been in this complex and listening, saying that you know, he wants me on the ballot. I'm glad he said that, but many of his political benefactors do not want me on the ballot because they know the effect of that. I do have a degree from Team University. I presented it on the 6th of last month to the competent authority, which is the Commission for University Education. After that, it was presented to the counterpart commission in the, in our neighboring country. They verified it. Many people have said that I'm trying hard to prove that I have one. Actually, it's my detractors trying hard to prove that I don't have one. Now, this issue is before the court, and you know, the reason I sympathize is that if my opponent and his team focused on going to the people, then they would stop looking for solace in the courts. I have it. In fact, I would want to display it today to all of you to see. I don't know how you'll verify it, But the competent authorities and institutions that have to, verify it have actually said it is correct.
Na kwa dakika moja unusu, kwa sababu sasa hivi tutaanza kuzingatia muda kulingana na sheria na masharti ambayo tuliweka awali. Kwa dakika moja unusu, endapo utachaguliwa kuwa gavana wa kaunti ya Nairobi, kisha baadaye kesi iwasilishwe mahakamani ambayo itabatili ushindi wako, utawajibikia wakazi na wapiga kura wa Nairobi? Hakuna kesi inaweza kubatili ushindi wangu, kwa sababu kwanza ushindi wangu, unajua ndugu yangu anaongea juu ya 8:57 am. Ushindi wangu utadhihirika, utaonekana. Nafikiri vile mmetutawanyisha kutoka wale wengine ilikuwa kwa sababu ya utafiti ambao umefanywa, na utafiti umeonyesha kwamba niko mbele zaidi. Mambo ambayo yako kotini yataisha kwa sababu tunajua ukweli ambao uko. Hakuna tashwishi hapo. Na zaidi ya hiyo, kwa sababu kumekuwa na hiyo, unajua, kizungumkuti ambayo imeongozwa na serikali, and I have said it previously, who has been driving this and how it's been driven. I think by the time we're going for re-election, we will make sure that there's even more to be able to show on that. So that is not an issue of concern. What is of concern to us, and what is of concern to anybody worth his salt as a leader in the city, is the plight of the millions of Nairobians who are suffering the lack of dignity and the lack of order in our city. And that is where our focus must be. So I do not expect any challenges beyond that which, because what is out there is political propaganda. If you look at the lengths that the state has gone to try and stop my candidature, if you look at the resources deployed, including diplomats and the ambassador, etc., intimidation of institutions, revoking and revoking, etc., then you know that there's something there. And I think nothing of that source will stand the test of time. Are you saying that those who are backing this fight for your contestation for the position of governor are behind your competitor? Yes. What do you say about that? You have an opportunity to respond.
Our worthy competitors have pitched themselves as victims, and the entire platform is victimhood. That they are victims of the weather, they are victims of the law, they are victims of what they call the system. But facts are facts, and the truth is the truth. I have said I really would love to meet Senator SAKAJA. I think out of abundance of the heart, I would like to meet Senator. I would like to meet. I would like to meet Senator SAKAJA on the ballot, because on the ballot, so that we can beat him, and so that the people who are the last line of defense when all other institutions fail, prove to him that they know better. That wajinga waliisha Kenya, na waliisha Nairobi. If any other institutions fail, the people should never fail on the ballot.
Naam, muda umekwisha. Senator SAKAJA, je, uamuzi wako kuingia kinyang'anyironi, ama niweke hivi, uamuzi wa kuingia kinyang'anyironi ulikuwa wako binafsi au ulikuwa wa chama na kiongozi wa chama?
Nimefurahi kwanza tumemaliza hicho kipindi kwa sababu I'm able to prove and to show that I have the qualifications. And that is going on. I'm looking forward to it. And I know millions of Nairobians, everywhere I've gone to, tell me every day that they're praying, and because they can see that big hand of the state. And we shall be vindicated in due course. When there's time after this, I'm available to speak to that. Of course, my intention to run for governor of Nairobi has been my intention. I've grown up in this city. I was born in Ngara. I've seen this city when it had some semblance of, a working city. And I've also seen the lack of dignity and order in our people. The lack of dignity when Mama Munde in Kayole had to watch her daughter die at Mama Lucy because of an ambulance. I've seen that, and I've committed myself to lead the charge of providing order and dignity in the city. So it was my decision, it is my decision, and beyond that, it is the resolve of the millions of Nairobians to rescue this city from state capture.
Your decision, you say, but it is on a ticket UDA under Kenya Kwanza.
Yes.
If you are elected as governor, how much of a burden will the patrons of your particular alliance have or be to your leadership as governor?
I think I've distinguished myself over the years as an objective leader, as a leader who stands his ground, as a leader who stands on principle. Many times, even before what my competitors and their colleagues thrive on, they like talking about the handshake. I've demonstrated what we call siasa safi. We'll incorporate the ideas. Everybody's sitting on that side note that I have no negative relationship with them, and that is the siasa safi Nairobians want. And that is why all your polls show that Nairobians across the political divide have resolved to support me for the office of governor.
Bwana Polycarp, je, ni kwamba Azimio mnaendesha siasa chafu katika kaunti ya Nairobi?
Kwanza wacha tuangalie siasa safi ni nini. Mwaka uliopita taifa la Kenya, the amount of money, pesa ambazo walituma kwa serikali gatuzi kutoka kwa serikali ya kitaifa was 370 billion shillings. 370 billion, Nairobi ilipata 19 billion. 5% only ndio ilikuja Nairobi. Nairobi, wapiga kura Nairobi ni 11% ya tuko 2.4 million out of 2.4 million voters out of 22 million voters in the country. Now, Nairobi contributes 2.2 trillion wame collect Kenya Revenue Authority. 60% ya hiyo 2.2 trillion imetoka kwa viwanda na wafanyi biashara hapa Nairobi. How does somebody contribute 60% of revenue and you only share 5% back? Na hiyo siasa safi ndio senator wetu amefanya katika Senate. Kazi ya senator ni kutuombea pesa. Ametuombea tu 5%. Alienda huko kufanya kazi ya county zingine. Hapa ndio sababu Nairobi hamna mashule. Tuna nasari pengine 211. Tuko na health centers kidogo sana, da dispensary. Na ndipo njaa na umaskini umekithiri hapa kwa sababu watu hawajui Nairobi is unaffected and a very poor country.
Muda wako
a very poor county.
Muda wako umekwisha. Bwana Sakaja ameuliza umetetea vipi county ya Nairobi ulipokuwa senator katika kipindi hiki cha takriban miaka 5. Je, kweli umewajibika kama senator wa county ya Nairobi?
Zaidi. Na zaidi ya wote wengine ambao walichaguliwa kama maseneta. Ukiangalia utafiti ambao umefanywa kwa miaka 3 ambayo imepita, for the last 3 years running, I've been rated the best performing senator in the Republic of Kenya. I brought more bills, more motions, more questions about the county administration of Nairobi than any other senator. You can check. I can see you have laptops. You can check that. On top of that, the work of the senator is to bring resources to the county. When I became senator for Nairobi, Nairobi was receiving 15 billion. I'm living with it 3.3 billion higher at 19 billion. That is actually understanding your assignment and prosecuting it the way you need to. So I brought that money. In fact, naturally, it would take more than 10-15 years in terms of cycles of devolution to get to an increase of 3.3 billion.
Something
so
IGATHE says isn't quite enough, even though you've gotten it to 19 billion. Something he says isn't enough, given the contribution of the capital to the rest of the nation.
Now, if you understand the framework of devolution under our constitution, fiscal decentralization has what we call the horizontal division of revenue. In that horizontal division of revenue, you have a county allocation of revenue bill, where you divide the amount that is given amongst the counties. So of course there is a ceiling of what has been given to all counties. What I have fought for is the fair share for Nairobi City County, which remains to be the highest, and over and above what any other county gets.
IGATHE, you have a response on that?
I don't know how much is enough.
What Senator ensured persisted in this country is a philosophy that is unsustainable. That you take from people according to their needs and give to others according to their ability and give to others according to their need. Nairobi is a very needy county, and the criticism I'm proffering here and submitting to him is that as senator, what did you do to help Nairobi overcome the hunger, the deprivation, the desperation in the informal settlements? Did you bring that matter to Senate? Did you make people understand that case? Instead, what we saw, he was a leader of a group called Team Kenya that even removed incentives for county to generate their own revenue. We used to get 1% extra if you generate your own own source revenue, like Nairobi is only generating this is going to do about 9 billion of its own revenue. So the the CRA, Commission for Revenue Allocation, was giving us brownie points as a county if you collect your own revenue and you don't rely on the national government. And these are some of the things he did not protect as our senator. So how does somebody fail or does not succeed in their task and then you give him the job of governor?
Na ulifeli katika kutetea na kulinda rasilimali za kaunti ya Nairobi, na ukiwa seneta kwa takriban miaka 5 ambao umekuwa katika uongozi, umeweka mikakati gani kudhibiti na kuimarisha ukusanyaji wa mapato katika kaunti ya Nairobi ambayo yameonekana kudidimia?
19 billion from 15 billion is success. It's an improvement. In fact, if I succumbed to the sloganeering that my worthy competitor is talking about, you know, which in fact his argument is the best case to show that education does not necessarily equate to intelligence. Because if I bring a box and tell you this is 1 man 1 shilling and it's 1,000 bob to you, and inside it's 500 shillings, would you accept it? What they were offering Nairobi Polycarp was 134 million shillings more. I refused with my team Kenya. I said Nairobi has the depth of poverty, that urban poverty bites harder than rural poverty, that you have nothing in this city, you'll have nothing to eat, you'll have nowhere to stay. And I refused that 135 million shillings and got 3.35 billion shillings for the people of Nairobi. If I was just to fall for the empty slogan, Nairobi would still be at 15.8 billion shillings today. So I'm very proud, and I'm proud of all my members, because not only did I secure that for Nairobi, I showed this country that there is no Kenya A and Kenya B. There's no second-class county in a first-class country. And I stand my ground that we must be patriotic. Even as we're in Nairobi, we have people from all across the country. On top of that, I can list you the bills. I brought the startup bill. I brought the prompt payment bill. I brought the National Disaster Management Authority bill in the Senate. I have fought for Uber drivers, who, Taxify and all digital hailing apps. I have spoken about the demolitions and even stopped demolitions that are going further. I have done a lot. In fact, if you gave me maybe an hour or so to just list the things I have done in the Senate, and I hope the next Senate of Nairobi will be able to fill in those big shoes,
that response,
because it is work that we've done.
Let's push on with that aspect then on. You talk about not having enough funds allocated to Nairobi given its place in the nation. However, there is the issue of not being able to actually get the potential revenue that it can get owing to the cartels in the city, which have been a thorn in the flesh of the administration. But it can be argued also fostered by the leadership. What will you do to get rid or deal with the cartels? Igathe, you have a minute and a half.
Thank you very much for that question. Nairobi collects, for sure, way above 200 million shillings every day. But what ends up in Nairobi coffers is around and about roughly 40 million a day. So over 160 million shillings is lost every day. That's the fact. We've had a senator whose work is also oversight, and Senator SAKAJA. You had a chance to be seen in this country oversighting the county of Nairobi. When push came to shove and the impeachment question came to the floor of Senate, it's up to Kenyans to see how you voted. Not only did you did not even take a decision, you abstained. You walked away from the conversation. We have not seen you. Nairobi County employees, in fact, we have to apologize to them. They do unbelievable. Their salaries are delayed. Their remittances are delayed. The Auditor General's report about Nairobi City County is that Nairobi City County has a debt of over 80 billion now. That is what it has been given an adverse opinion. But have we ever had once our senator speak about it? And that's why I'm saying the oversight role he did not do very well, and he actually did not succeed in that oversight role. But the cartels we will deal with, because we have the numbers and we know who they are, and you have seen them even in the campaign season trying to fight and hide behind
muda wako umekwisha. Bwana
SAKAJA,
una muda wa dakika 1:30 kujibu.
I'm actually quite tickled that Polycarp Igathe can talk about push coming to shove and me not making a decision. Before even push came to shove, in like 4 or 5 months, Polycarp Igathe quit on the people of Nairobi. In fact, that should have come in the question of integrity. Because when you talk about public trust, chapter 6, at the expense of private convenience? That is the question that we must answer.
It did come up before you, right?
The question on impeachment. Governor Sonko will not be facing an impeachment if you're stuck in office. In fact, if you're stuck in office, you probably would have been the incumbent governor. If you're stuck in office, there'd be no NMS in Nairobi. The reason we have an NMS in Nairobi is after Polycarp Igathe could not wait or stand the heat in the kitchen, he ran away in less than 6 months. This city needs resilience. You need to be tough. You cannot say that you have betrayed 800 and I think, how many votes did you guys get? 40 or something thousand votes, 840,000 votes, because you could not get the trust of one individual, yet 1 million Nairobians have given you the public trust. When push has come to shove, look at the Senate answered. I have spoken more times than any senator. I have raised more questions in the Senate than any other senator. In fact, I have taken the former Governor Sonko to court on the action he took on matatus. The record is clear. This county needs a political manager who understands how to deal with the leaders and how to deal with the issues of the people, but has a thick skin. In fact, if half of the tribulations I'm facing right now in my bid were on Polycarp, Azimio would have no candidate. But I have stood.
Your time is out, you've stood, you ran off.
He'd have quit.
Integrity, I define integrity as what you do in private. If it ever became public, you'll never be ashamed. I'll tell you what is not integrity. Is uttering false documents and then standing here and saying I have integrity. Go to the website of the East African, of EACC. Go to the website of IBC. Check the university governors, SAKAJA, Senator SAKAJA. No, let me go. Go and check what Senator SAKAJA cited as his degree in 2017. It's a public document. And then look at the degree he's saying it is today. We don't even know who he is. Is your name really SAKAJA? Nairobi. Careful. All of us, careful. We can no longer entertain charlatans in positions of high national responsibility. And charlatan is not an insult. It's people of questionable integrity. It's people and individuals who come to steal from you wholesale to distribute retail to their friends. And I submit to you, the man to my left will do exactly that. Careful.
I think the man to my right did exactly that by running away from the mandate given to him by Nairobians. Actually, the entire mess we have in this city. Because when he ran away from office, and I think he said somewhere because he got a bigger salary somewhere, I don't know. This city went into a spiral. I assure you, even the drafting of the articles of transfer, I had to be involved because we had to rescue Nairobians. And he ran away from that public office. Now, if you cannot withstand the heat of a deputy governor, you can't run Nairobi City County. You have 85 MCAs, possibly 40 nominated, 125 MCAs. You have 17 constituencies. If just one Mike Sonko made you run, tomorrow, matatus will strike. The next day, hawkers will be on the street. The next day, and you're trying to run this county by being popular, it will not work. Again, as I've said, it is really unfortunate that the only card they had was to try and stop me from being on the ballot. I want to tell you to wake up, smell the coffee. On the 9th of August, I'll be on the ballot for governor of Nairobi City County, and on the 25th, we shall be sworn in. Because Nairobians can see through the game. And the documents he's talking about, for instance, in fact, they're part, and I don't want to wade into subjudice, but they're forged documents. They actually forged documents in court by them. They have tried to...
Lakini huwezi kuthibitisha hilo, sio?
Of course I can, because the signature there is not my signature.
Lakini sisi kwa sababu hatuna hizo stakabadhi hata kuruhusu kuzitumia.
Tuachie hapo, lakini wacha nijieleze, naona dakika zinaenda. Utanipa nafasi nzuri nijieleze. Mimi nimehitimu na nimesoma na nimesimamia watu wa Nairobi.
Jina lako ni SAKAJA?
Not just in fair weather.
SAKAJA ni jina lako halisi?
Nafikiri mlialika SAKAJA. Jina lako ni Zubeida.
Niko hapa kuuliza maswali, uko hapa kujibu, naomba.
Ukiuliza swali ambao kama watu wa Nairobi wanasema haitoshi.
Mwenzako amekuuliza swali. Kwa sababu uko hapa kujibu, ndio sababu tunakupa nafasi kujibu. Jina lako ni SAKAJA.
Out to the issues Nairobians are facing instead of trivializing this debate as to what my name is, honestly. My name is Arthur Johnson SAKAJA.
No.
I'm the senator of Nairobi and the incoming governor, God willing, on the 9th of August.
Asante kwa kujibu.
And I want us to talk about water. Let's talk about the poverty our people are facing. Let's talk about sorting out mobility and transport. Let's talk about sorting out our children in school. Let's talk about the issues of the people. And the rest of the games being played by the state and our opponents can then have their way. Because Kenyans have seen. In fact, I want to give you full reassurance. Just yesterday, a few of the government administration officers have called me saying that they've been coerced into supporting the candidature of my opponent, and they've refused. Chiefs have refused.
Well,
DCs have refused.
We can't quite verify that. That's
I can verify
your
that,
word.
but if you don't be able to verify the questions he has, I have 16 seconds.
That's your word on that. But he said, and you didn't quite respond directly to it.
To what
at the moment, I'm quite clear, Senator SAKAJA.
Thanks, Mark.
At the moment of reckoning, when there was questions over the leadership of former governor, the moment of impeachment,
Let me explain how
you
Senate
walked
works.
away.
Let me explain how Senate works. It's my question.
Sure, go ahead.
When you go to the Senate, I've seen one of the candidates here. There are 3 buttons to press when you have to vote. You either press yes, you press no, or you press abstain. For you to run away from the vote in the Senate, you actually walk out. You don't press any. Meaning to abstain is actually a vote, and it's a statement that you make. The tradition, because Parliament is ruled by the standing orders, by traditions and by precedents, and the past jurisprudence that has been set in the Senate. When a matter comes regarding your county, you're supposed to prosecute your position on the floor and then let others make the decision. Because if you vote yes to impeach a governor, of course it shows your conflict of interest, because you want also to be governor. Then it shows that you're putting a man down. And let me tell you, Kenyans have grace. No matter the ills of Governor Mike Sonko or whoever else would have been there, you never kick a man when he's down. So when you press yes, you've displayed your conflict of interest. If you press no, it means that you're actually abetting and agreeing with what he has done. And so the tradition from 2013, when an impeachment has been brought to the Senate, is the Senate of that area actually abstains on that vote. I'd have had the luxury of walking out and not being there for that vote. It's a decision I would take again if it came to me. And I'm proud of the decision I made.
You had a point to raise on that earlier.
I want to come in and say, yeah, it's true. Don't kick a man when he's down, but I have a better statement. Don't kick a dead dog.
I don't understand why you'd call the former governor a dog.
No, it's not the former governor. It's you I'm talking about.
You're calling me a dog.
Naomba Igathe.
I don't want to kick you. That's why I'm asking. And you had me.
Naomba
Igathe. You had me earlier.
Naomba unisikize dakika moja, sekunde moja. Tafadhali tusitumie lugha ya matusi wakati na kudhalilishana katika mjadala.
Wacha niseme hivi. Let me say this. Not kicking a dead dog is actually an English phrase, is not an insult. It's to say, don't go for somebody when he's down. And I already said, I want to meet him on the ballot. I want to meet my competitor. I want to meet my competitor. I truly want to meet my competitor on the ballot. But I want to remind him that uttering a false document is one of the laws in this country that does not. It is one of the things in this country that you're not fined for. You are taken straight if you are found guilty. And that is for the investigative capacity. We didn't come to do that here. All I'm telling Kenyans... That
is an allegation.
Can I finish? What the Constitution wants is a competent governor, a capable governor, a governor with character. Ask yourselves, who amongst two of us can you trust?
It also wants a governor who will stay in office for 5 years.
All right. You said earlier you know who the cartels are. Enumerate them, put them on notice on how you're going to deal with this. Earlier when you were talking about the cartels.
The cartels of Nairobi have persisted for 4 decades.
Who are they? You said you know.
It is a clique of people who have choked the city, and especially the biggest symptom of cartel behavior is in the situation with garbage collection in the city of Nairobi, the situation with pending bills, the situation with suppliers in the city of the county of Nairobi. We need to look at suppliers in the city, in the county city of Nairobi, and ask ourselves, who are they? Do they meet the threshold of our public procurement laws, procedures, and regulation? And I want to ask Kenyans to read Auditor General Nancy Gathungu's reports to really see what I'm talking about. errors and omissions, the statement of assets and liabilities of Nairobi City County, the statement of cash flow, the statement of appropriation, recurrent budget, and development budget. When you read that statement, she's actually saying these numbers don't reflect the fair data of proper financial practices, proper HR practices. And that is where you see the name of the cartels. And only a president who is running on an anti-corruption platform like Raila Amolo Odinga can tackle this issue. And people who have been stood up to scrutiny. I have always been an employee, I've always been audited, I have never taken a shilling that does not belong to me apart from my salary.
Naam, kabla tuvuke kwake, ulikuwa naibu gavana katika kaunti ya Nairobi kwa takriban miezi 6. Katika muda huo ulijukumika vipi katika kuwa kaunti ya Nairobi?
Kwa sababu for the time when I was a governor, Nairobi City County moved its revenues from the 12 million we used to find to 100 million levels, 120 million a day.
You're never a governor.
When I was deputy governor, I was in the governor's office, thank you. For that period when I was a deputy governor, that is what was going on. And we started to pay salaries on the 25th of every month. There was also remission of all statutory deductions. When I was there, I started the titling program for Nairobi to give title deeds into Nairobi. That process has taken 5 years, is now being completed as we speak. When I was there, I formulated and changed the management of Nairobi City County Water, the Nairobi Water and Sewer System. The new existing chief executive and their team came in. So there are a couple of things that we did within those 6 months. So we had some achievements, and I want to assure you that we'll accelerate them when we come to office when you vote for us.
Kama seneta unakubaliana naye kwamba waliweka mikakati ya kuweza kukabili hawa cartels na kuweza kulinda rasilimali za kaunti ya Nairobi?
Kwanza nafikiri vile amesema vile alikuwa alianzisha na ikakamilika bila yeye. Inamaanisha Nairobi haikumuhitaji. Kwa sababu it's just demonstrated that even whether he was there or not, it happened. I think if you stayed true and didn't quit and run away when things got hot, maybe things would have been better for the people of Nairobi. We'd never know. And unfortunately, we'll never get to learn. Cartels are a lazy word. It's a word used by lazy leaders who fail to master the courage and the guts and the resilience to deal with corruption. That is what cartels are. Cartels are a weak excuse because all of these are human beings. If you say you know them, and even here, just at this debate, you're afraid to name them, yet you said you knew them, you'll not deal with them. If you know them, name them.
Kwa hivyo huamini kama seneta kwamba kuna cartels katika kaunti ya Nairobi?
Sio cartels. Ni wana biashara ambao, the first way not to be, to have cartels in Nairobi is to refuse to be part of that system. Lakini kama unaogopa hata wezi wasema, kesho wakikutisha utajiuzulu tena. We cannot have that in Nairobi. We just need to set systems that actually remove the place they are playing. Don't be afraid of cartels, Polycarp.
Whatever name you choose.
I will invite you on 10th of August when we are naming them.
The opposition is not allowed to name
You can also name them today, but whatever name you use to allude to them, how are you going to deal with those?
Listen, the first thing you must do in the city, as I've said, is to refuse to be part of them before you even get into office. I have run my campaign by myself. I have struggled. I have funded myself. I have evidence. In fact, unfortunately, I can table it over here. That even the first billboards paid for my opponent are by the cartels. Are by other shadowy figures who are convincing him to get out of office, to run for it. Once you are captured by them before you start, once you're captured by the state, once you're captured by these shadowy figures before you even set foot, you will not do anything when you're elected governor. Number two, we must reduce the human interaction with cash in Nairobi. We must digitize service provision, that all the 130-something revenue streams must be allowed to be paid digitally wherever you are. What we're going to do is this in Nairobi. We'll change the governance structure. We're going to have 5 boroughs in this city: Nairobi North, East, West, South, and Central. Each of those boroughs, pursuant to the Urban Areas and Cities Act and the County Government Act, Section 14, will have a urban area board or a borough board. And in that borough, there will be an assistant city manager who will report to my deputy governor, Mushiri Njoroge, who we have agreed is not going to quit. They will report to Mushiri Njoroge, and Njoroge Mushiri is going to be the chief city manager. Now, once you localize them to an area, that these few sub-counties, these are who will deal with garbage, these are who will deal with water, these are who will deal with education and all those issues, then you reduce the capacity of that corruption.
Bwana Igathe, unakubali muda wako umekwisha, samahani Seneta. Bwana Igathe, unakubali kwamba mapendekezo anayotoa ndio yataweza kukabili wale ambao wanaonyesha tumpe nafasi aweze
mambo ya Nairobi ni mazito. Tafadhali baada ya zungumze utuongezee dakika. Shida za Nairobi hawezi taja na dakika moja. Kama mnataka watu wa Nairobi wasikie vizuri.